Anyway, now I gotta do the electrics. And here's something that's not unconfusing. Here's one of the tail lights. They attach ostensibly back here. We got these two holes here. Observe though. Oh, I'm gonna put it in. Man, there's like a... It's just the cord here just like smacks right against it. I just can't put this on without the cord being like super annoying. So like, what? How do I solve that issue? That's weird. I don't know. Anyway, I'll have to figure it out. Well, I've opened the light up and you can see the cord going out the back there, which is a no-go for us. But I think I can reroute it at the side. It's a messy hole. Yeah, pretty much. Cool, well that's rerouted outside. I just need to block up this hole with something. There we go. Hopefully that should be good. Just glued a little piece of scrap plastic on the back. So now we can get that on there, like that. And we can also route this cable through that hole there. And here, the right hand side one all done. It's coming out the left hand side this time, so it, you know, goes towards the center. Okay, got both the taillights on. The rest of the electrics. This is like, I assume, the correct electrics instructions, because this is like a supplement and the other one doesn't really look like it. So it conflicts with the instructions in here as well, so what are you going to do? It says you should remove the 7-pin flat plug. So snake the wires in from the bay at 7. Starting at the back on the left hand side, guide the wires to the rear crossbeam hole. Go the wires under the drawbar into the front hole, blah blah. Cool. I'll figure it out. These instructions, man, they're not bad, but there's a lot missing. Just gonna move this rusty metal. Okay, so they said you should just like push the wire through this hole. Yeah, it's not gonna work. I had a bunch of this, just a pretty thick wire hanging around. So I've put that through and I'm just gonna use that to pull the electrics through. Well, yesterday I bought this winch. I attempted to mount it. First bolt went fine. Second one, cross-threaded it somehow. It's not coming off, so gotta get the angle grinder on that. That's a remove a recalcitrant bolt. But the boat, sit on the rollers at the back. You get to here. I have rollers for the front as well. Here's a frame for one of them. I need to put them approximately here-ish to have them line up. They have to be, I think, 692 millimeters apart on the center. That's how far apart the skegs are. Now I can't really drill a hole through here. If I modify the chassis of this trailer at all, according to the government, I need to get it inspected by an engineer and proved and everything. So I can't drill anything or cut anything or weld anything. So I need to mount this non-destructively. Well, let's go see how we did. Cool. Should go on somewhat like that. Now when I bought these rolls yesterday, I noticed that they were a really tight fit. So I asked the bloke at the store what was the deal, and he's like, oh yeah dude, totally, they're supposed to be really tight because they like shrink over time. I'm beginning to think that he might have been telling a fib, because these rolls here are quite loose and spin freely. And that doesn't seem to be a problem. So I'm just going to trim off like a couple of millimeters on the bandsaw and hopefully they'll fit a bit better. Oh yeah, that's much nicer. Now I have these cool tiny little discs. Whee! Yeah, much better. And seems to be pretty sturdily on there. I need to test the electricals now. Well, the side lights are working, eh? Yep. And then we've got things going there.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Cool, that's pretty much it, isn't it? Oh yeah, we're all done with the trailer. That's what it's going to look like attached to the car. Pretty stoked about that. I'm a bit excited, so I'm going to go on a cheeky victory lap around the block. Don't tell the cops. Shh. Well, I'm trying to finish off the waterline marking here. It was like ages ago, like maybe 6 weeks ago when I started to paint and I started to mark the waterline, but I only got halfway around because the boat wasn't level. It was tilting down a little bit. I thought it would be easier, instead of trying to level the boat, to angle the laser. So my laser level, you can have it in auto leveling mode, or you can turn that off and it will just create a straight line. So I thought I was smart and I turned that off. You know, lo and behold, it drew a straight line, and I had it on the tripod and I just tilted it slightly until the line matched up with the front and rear places where I'd marked the waterline. And then I just sort of marked that. And today, when I went to do it, well, I started off doing the same thing. And then it was being a pain in the butt. I've got a bottle jack. I was intending to use it to jack up the boat to test the centerboard fit. And I thought, wouldn't it just be easier to jack up the back a little, instead of like moving the laser and you move it a tiny, tiny little bit and it just goes crazy. It's impossible to line up. I could let the laser be still, have it on its auto leveling mode, and then jack up the back of the boat slightly until everything lined up. So that's the setup we see down here. So I drew all that, and I'd already marked it on the other side. When I was looking around the other side, I was like, these waterlines are a bit different. What's going on here? What have I done? Could the boat be tilted or something like that? I mean, listing to port or starboard. That's level, mate. Then I was like, let me think about this. If the laser was not exactly, I don't know how to explain it. And the more I think about it, the more I doubt myself. So the line is angled because I was trying to match the angle of the boat. And if the line was being projected exactly perpendicular to the center line of the boat, then I think everything would have been okay, I think. But look, I don't know. I think point is, it's wrong on the other side. And I just have this vibe that it's because I didn't use it in auto leveling mode. So, you know, I guess the line is it's projecting like a horizontal plane, right? When you intersect any sort of point on a plane, you get a line, but the plane itself might be going up like this, right? At any point on that plane would be a line, but if you sort of move the place where you're sectioning that plane back and forth, the line will go up and down. Whereas a perfect horizontal line, doesn't matter where you move that section, the line will always be the same height. I think it would project a different line onto the boat, is what I'm getting at. Now, I'm not really smart enough to tell you for sure that that's what happened, but that's what I think has happened. And I'll tell you why I think that's happened, because what I did was, I drew the line on this side, OG. God bless you, lazy boy. And it's in auto leveling mode. A line being projected around the boat. That's all good. And this particular line is correctly calibrated. It's exactly on the top of this tape, which is the waterline. If we go over here, you can see the tape. Here's the line, and the tape's down here. You probably can't see because of the light. There's a significant deviation. You move that laser all the way to, say, the middle, and you make sure it's level with the marks that you created of the line at the back. It's level with the mark at the very front, which was the reference mark. And then you move it back over to this side, the line, it goes all the way around. It's a perfectly horizontal section that's being projected onto the hull of the boat. So that's a huge confirmation that I got it right this time, and I got it wrong the last time. Point is, if you are drawing a waterline onto a boat with a laser, just make sure you use the auto leveling version of a laser. And make sure that the boat is perfectly level port to starboard. And then just put a jack under one end and, you know, jack it up and down slightly until you get that alignment between your reference marks. Anyway, that's that. Finally, got all the masking tape on here for the waterline. So it's going to be just a white stripe around there, a few centimeters above the waterline. Now, some people suggest widening the line as you get fore and aft in the boat. If you look at it side on, the sort of line goes underneath the curve of the boat. And for it to appear the same height, because it's being angled under, you'd need to widen the line. Didn't do that, can't be bothered, doesn't really matter. You know, to be honest, I'll be in the boat all the time, not looking at it from outside, so other people can look and go, ooh, that's a bit rough. But I don't care. I'm sailing away from them anyway. I'll never see them again. I don't have to talk to them. Problem solved. Yep. Look at that beautiful trailer. All completely done and registered. See? Just got it done today. You used to have to go down to the government office thing and wait in line and do all sorts. But these days, because of COVID, everything's done online. You submit all the forms online and everything. They call you up and they're like, hey, can you come in today and pick up your number plates? And you just go down there, there's no one in there, you pick up your number plates and you leave. Should have been like this for years. It's fantastic. Anywho, I got the jockey wheel attached. It didn't come with any U-bolts or anything. And I had this 10mm threaded rod, which I've sort of bent into U-bolts, and it works well. I originally bought these U-bolts to use to mount the jockey wheel. They're a good fit, except there was way too much of this clear stuff without thread. Why don't I get a tap and die set and try and extend the thread? So I checked a 10mm nut on here and it fit, and I was like, it must be 10mm rod. And I got the 10mm die, and that's what it cut. Just a wee little scratch in the surface. What's going on? Did I get a bung die or something? No. Turns out this is 9.5mm. I'm guessing that's some imperial size. No, what is it my lot to struggle with bloody imperial? I'll go to the hardware store and they got so many imperial bolts and nuts and everything, and not even that much metric. I'm like, bro, we're in Australia. We use metric. We don't need 5/8 and all that. You know, I've ranted about imperial enough. Or whatever they call it. American standard. I don't know. Point is, damn. I mean, metric. Anyway, this 10mm threaded rod worked out really good. These are all the mooring cleats. And time to start putting some fittings back on the boat, I reckon. Now, where did my goo go? That's the marine stuff, but it's black. I got some white stuff because it goes better with the paint. Where did I put it? Here it is. Sikaflex 291 marine adhesive sealant. I was looking for 291i, because that's what I've used before. I couldn't find it anywhere. I honestly couldn't really find any difference in the specs sheets that I looked at. I'm like, they seem identical. There's obviously some sort of difference. I don't know. This'll do. Prove me wrong. Don't prove me wrong. I'm going to do it anyway, and it'll be done by the time you watch this, so I don't know how that happened, but this one looks a bit stuffed, doesn't it? How does that even happen? Poor little thing. Well, I popped the seal now, so I have to use it. I don't remember exactly the best way to go about this, but I guess just put heaps of goo in the holes and around everywhere and put the fittings in. Should be right, eh? Got everything laid out. My cleat ready here. Got my bolts and stuff down there. Yeah, I'm just going to squeeze a bit into the nozzle. It's always, you never quite know. Yeah, it's filling up. I don't want to get too much going at once. Oh no, I know what I've done. I forgot to clip off the top of the nozzle, and I've just filled the tip here with compressed air, and when I cut the top off, it's going to go everywhere like crazy. If it's hard to do, stop and figure out why. Yeah. Well, here goes nothing. Whew. Here it comes. That could have been way worse. Now I'll just get a bunch of goo down in the holes. Is anything coming out? It is just hard to... because okay, I didn't cut off enough, and I've just got this tiny little thread coming out. Let's see, does that give us a bit more? There's a bunch of goo down there, to here. But it's going all over the place. It's a disaster catastrophe. Oh, it's all gone so well, isn't it? Got to install the eyeball here. Goes there, and the nuts go all the way in there. So somehow I gotta do that. Gotta get the goo in the hole. This is the easy part. Okay, that's it's a bit sticky because of the paint. One way to do it. Well, you can see it's all the way in there at the very tip. It's quite a long way. Now how I got it out with this really long extender bar. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do again now. Just got my nut here. Put that in the tip. Hopefully I cross thread it. Yeah, that's not going on because I'm not reaching. It's too far into the socket. Let's see if I can get it on like this. Yeah, I didn't think of that, did Okay, well, this is attempt number 3. I've got another nut in the socket, so it's pushing this one a little out. I'm just going to try and get it on by hand at first. Okay, I think that's on. Well, that wasn't too hard. That's the eye-bolt firmly mounted in the bow. Cool beans. Well, that's all the cleats mounted. Superb. And the other two. So, I may as well just try and smash out the rest of the fittings. Got a few boys coming over later this afternoon to help me lift the boat onto the trailer. So, probably be best for me to get as much done inside the boat as possible before that. Downhaul. Halyard. No. No. Yes. Got a few of the fittings on now. Cleats, the ring bolts for the downhaul and the halyard, downhaul stuff here, halyard cleat, and the chafing strips. They're all bedded down with Sigaflex 291. To be honest, I probably didn't need to do it for like these bits because they're, you know, not underwater or... But you know what? You gotta bed it down with something, right? I guess. I don't know. Everyone always does. So I do too, because I'm just like everyone else. Yeah. So that's nice. Well, the boys are coming over in about 45 minutes to help me lift the boat, so I gotta go buy some beer. That's what boys run on. They run on beer.